Over the past 6 months, I found a method of note-taking that has enabled me to make drastic changes in my life. Today, I'm going to go over why notes fail, the different methods of note-taking, both analog and digital, and the system that brings it all together for me. Hey, it's CK, and welcome back to 52 Skills in 52 Weeks. This week was the art of note-taking. Not just writing things down, but building a system that works to organize, reflect, and apply the knowledge that I learn in my life. Most people take notes, but never use them. We write down too much, or we write down too little, or they just never get used and collect a lot of dust. Actually make note-taking useful, we have to make it actionable, organized, and personal to your way of thinking. I've never been the best at note-taking or studying until recently, and over the years I've used many different methods. I've used the 5-minute journal, I've used just a regular book that enables you to put in the date and month and a focus for the day, and many other methods that have failed. I even used the bullet journal method, and this probably lasted the longest for me next to the 5-minute journal, but both of them put together never made me into a consistent note taker or journaler. That wasn't until I found a method called the commonplace journal alongside the life tracker method by Reisu. I utilized the life tracker method by having it as my monthly goal setter. These 2 pages set the month's course. They kind of give me what I'm going to do for this month, and it allows me to refer back to it to make sure I'm doing the same habits, to make sure I'm taking the correct goals down, and that I'm trying to reach a very specific but tangible goal. After that, I move completely to the commonplace journal method. The commonplace journal method is essentially an archive of ideas, thoughts, opinions, inspirations, and kind of a musing of everything that I see and learn throughout my day-to-day. And they don't have to be structured and organized where one page is this and one page is that. It's just writing down things as you go. The main point of this is just capturing all that you can into your journal. The methods that you can use for capturing in a journal, you need to find it for yourself. The 3 different methods of journaling I can recommend to you are bullet journaling, the commonplace journal method, and the Zettelkasten method. Bullet journaling has been popularized in the modern age as the everyday, daily bullet journal. The main system itself is very simple. I just personally didn't like how simple it was. I wanted it to be a little bit more tangible, where my monthly shows what I'm doing for that month and to be more specified. With the commonplace journal, I use this. It's just essentially taking your journal with you everywhere you go and writing things down. It doesn't have to be just your main journal. It could also be little notebooks that enable you to just have little notes to jot down. Because there's some places where photography or video is forbidden now, so being able to just write down a memory is very useful. Also, having this pen on me all the time has been useful, along with just having a piece of paper. Then there's the Zettelkasten method. This is a method of how to take smarter notes and how to organize them if you wanted to do it all analog. This is more of an outdated method from Nicholas Luhmann that he popularized a way of organizing his notes to be able to find new connections, find new ideas, or find new methods. This is going to be talked about more with the digital method and mainly how to build a second brain. Now, moving on from writing things down physically and analog, we're going to move to digital note-taking. This is so common these days because we have so many different apps that are able to help us become better at taking notes. Now, your options can vary, but what I use is a mix of Obsidian and Simplenote. It's mainly become just Obsidian, but Simplenote is also great for just jotting things down quickly, and it's been my main method before I found out about Obsidian and these other methods. First, I'd like to talk about Simplenote. Simplenote is just what it says, simple note-taking. You have the ability for tags, for pinning, and for being able to search through those notes for keywords. It doesn't go too much deeper, but the only reason I use it is because I used to work at Automatic. So I just use this because I've enjoyed it, and it has the ability for offline use and then syncing to online. And that matters a lot for me. And that's why I could never use Notion. Notion is great for people who want templates, who want organization, and want to glam up their note-taking methods. Very popular and very widely used by a lot of people, but I personally didn't like it just for the fact that it didn't have offline support. That wasn't until I found Obsidian. Obsidian is open source, so you're able to do a lot with it with whatever you want, and all the files stay locally to your computer. Yes, there's Obsidian Sync, which I do use and enables you to sync between all your devices, but at the end of the day, if Obsidian was to disappear, I would have all my notes because they're all saved locally. So I'd be able to access them at any time and they would just be simple text files. The reason I love Obsidian is because it kind of just uses a folder and file system hierarchy that's just in a nice looking system. That's very customizable. You're able to enable or disable a lot of its features, and you're able to customize it for yourself. They also have this really cool graph system that allows you to see the links that you're making for the different backlinks and tags that connect to one another, so you can see the connections that you're making in your work. Surprisingly, I found a really weird connection where I was reading how to take smart notes, the Zettelkasten system, and being able to take those notes together. And at the same time, I was reading Richard Feynman's 6 Easy Pieces and the Almanac of Neville Ravikant. What's really strange about the connection I made was that while reading the Almanac here, they mentioned 6 Easy Pieces, and that's how I found out about reading more about physics, because he suggested being more broad, learning about sciences, game theory, all that. And I found that Richard Feynman used a mix of how to take smart notes to be able to come up with new physics theories or simplify his teachings of physics because he was a famous physics professor. And in Building a Second Brain, Tiago Forte mentions Richard Feynman's different note-taking methods, which allowed him to become the successful professor that he was. And I wouldn't have normally found these links because I would have just read these books, taken some notes, and then just left them. But with the new note-taking method, I was able to find this really strange connection where all these pieces somehow linked together that I would have never realized before. Now, is this useful for me? Yes, because it showed how the art of note-taking can link to one another and create new ideas and new connections that we could never see. And these connections can change your life. It can change the doors of opportunities to be able to research different people, create new thoughts, create new methods that work for you and can also help other people. It's why I'm here telling you about the different methods right now. Now, how did I bring it all together? All of it was brought together thanks to Building a Second Brain. In Building a Second Brain, he talks about the code system. In its simplicity, the code system is an acronym. Code: capture, organize, distill, express. When capturing, you keep what resonates. In organizing, you save it in a way that makes sense for actionability. When distilling, you find the essence of the idea. And then when you express it, you share and apply the notes that you've taken, like I am here. Now, you don't have to follow everything that he does. He has a para method for organizing your folders that I partially used for myself. And with code, while I do find code to be very useful, it's an idea. It's more of a thought process to keep in mind when you're taking your notes, organizing them, and moving them around. But it really is a very simple method that I will probably be using unconsciously. Now, for an example of how this works, I found this guy named Henry Mercer. The way I found him was because for Valentine's Day, my wife wanted to surprise me, and she brought me to a castle. Little did she know, this castle and this person that built the castle changed me a lot. And I wanted to ride that momentum. I wanted to ride the excitement of Henry Mercer and the Fonthill Castle. Let me briefly talk about Henry Mercer. A man that started off with a predefined destiny of becoming a judge, passed the bar exam, decided screw that, became an archaeologist, and in his years of archaeology, eventually moved to tile making, which became his main form of income. And then when his aunt died, who was wealthy, gave the money to him because she didn't have any kids, and instead he made a castle that would show history through the ages and keep artifacts through the ages, while also being his main house and inspiration that he'd be able to inspire others and inspire the future of the legacy of the house and the legacy of the castle and the history of the world. In his castle holds many untold stories. There's so much inspiration in these walls that wherever you look, there's a tile either describing something, a Latin phrase of inspiration, or simply just a story. His tile making was storytelling at the end of the day. Now, in my research of Henry Mercer, I've read this book probably 3 or 4 times already. I've watched videos of him over and over again, and I've been able to relay this information to you and find new inspiration for interior design, for architecture, through Henry Mercer. And because of him, I'm going to eventually be able to get into architecture, into interior design, into tile making, because the notes I've taken from him, the experience I had at his castle, had changed me forever. And in his book, there's even inspiration of the notes that he took. And that led to me buying a book from DK called Remarkable Diaries that I'm still going through. And this talks about the diaries of ages, from Anne Frank to Leonardo da Vinci. There's just such a wide range of diaries in the world, and the journaling that you can take could change the world. To read a few quotes from this remarkable diary, from a 19th century British clergyman, Francis Kilford, keeping a diary means taking a stand against the passing of time, which sweeps all passing thoughts, emotions, events, and experiences into the feelings jotted down in the heat of the moment, providing evidence against later false memories or the reinvention of the past to which everyone is prone. In today's world, we don't have individuality and we think in a hive mind. Because of social media, it influences our thoughts and opinions of every day. By keeping those thoughts to yourself, to writing things down, and to discovering who you are, it goes a farther away than just consuming. So consume correctly. Take the inspiration of your life and then make something of it. Thank you so much for watching. I've been so passionate about this because in today's world, individuality is important. And I hope that this inspired you to start note-taking or journaling in some way. And remember, you will fall off it, but it's about picking up the journal at all times and taking down your thoughts and opinions whenever you have them. Letting them linger or letting them be just thoughts or hopes and dreams, they'll stay there unless you take note and you try to take action on them. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Let me know that I'm doing a good job with these skills and that you want to see more of this going on. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for the next skill. Later.